All right, we are back. This is the first of the three specials that somehow comprise season three of The Owl House.
Hmm.
This episode is called Thanks to Them. So, Brock, I'm going to throw it to you first. Things you noticed, things you liked about this episode?
I'm going to say that where are we starting here? Uh, I one thing I greatly appreciate, and I was hoping to God they were going to do it while they were in the human world, is that one of them got shown what an actual alarm clock sounds like.
Yup.
And give or take, it is a normal noise, but I don't know if Miss Sal's gonna know it as much as us. She is not much younger than us, as much as she would like to deny it. But I wanted it to be the old school, like 1980s loud ass alarm clock noise.
Oh, you mean like the one
Yeah,
the
I
ones that we
heard
all
of
had?
those. I
Yeah,
heard of those.
I wanted it to be that, so they went, "Oh God!" But it was roughly that, and I do like that. One thing that I can appreciate, and again, people, every Sunday going to church Christian here, I greatly appreciate that when they found out from Disney that this is just the last season, the last thing they get to do, that they literally started a new intro that was Lumanity Productions, and they just had a giant "I'm bisexual" intro
It was a
play.
giant fu to Disney.
I love it.
That's
Love it. I'm like,
awesome.
yes.
So I was like, this is the new intro. This is a giant scene that is a new. Wow, this is an intro. Wow, this is an intro. Holy shit, this is a time skip. No, this is still an intro.
It actually does kind of operate as both
Yeah.
a time skip montage and the intro, which again, I would never press that skip intro button on
Oh
Disney
no, no,
Plus
no,
ever.
you're
It
not
was
allowed
awesome.
to.
No, it was awesome.
Before we get too deep into the weeds of things, Misao, how'd you feel revisiting this episode?
Ah, ah. I like obviously I knew like the it's more fresh in my memory, so I knew stuff was gonna happen. So I wasn't like as sad because I knew it was gonna happen, so I prepared myself. Still sad.
Yeah, that's how I'm at with these. Again, when these episodes came out, I would go back and rewatch them like three or four times, both by myself and vicariously through various reaction channels. So
Yeah, I was like that
I
too when the episode first came out.
yeah, I'm pretty well familiar with the things that happen,
So
but
that's why I'm like,
that
I
doesn't
know what's happening, so
that doesn't make the things that happen any less sad.
yeah.
And we will get to that later because
Yeah.
I'm 99% positive this is the spoiler that Brock kept alluding to.
It's one of them.
One of
What
them.
a many.
It's
Like I
hard at
said,
this point to remember which spoiler I mentioned because I think I mentioned one or two, and I know this is one of them that I mentioned. I know the King one was the other thing, but yeah, like this got to, I know I've mentioned it on multiple, which I looked the other day, and I am approaching 500 videos on this channel somehow, and I'm like,
yay.
what? But I am a person that at some point wants to have kids, and I very badly want to have a daughter. So that montage, I know this is way in the future of the episode, but since we're talking about that stuff, and I'm a con goer, so watching these video journals of a girl who misses her dad that is like into nerdy shit and like going to conventions and showing cool stuff that she knew her dad would probably think was cool, that hurt. And
Mm.
then I'm learning more and more throughout this episode that Luce's mom is just mine. Like, if you got along with me, you would be fed and clothed for as long as you needed. If your parents were dicks, you were living with us, and if you attempted to hurt any of them, she's going to kill you. That is just my mom. My mom was the one in school that if you picked on me, you begged to God that it did not make it to my home and it didn't affect me enough because the wrath of hell was coming back and my mother was going to make sure that you wanted to no longer live in that county because you did not mess with her children.
Yeah, moms like that are pretty great.
Yeah.
The ones where as soon as you step into that house, they are like they are just like
Just get in the bat like, all right, let's go. Get the shovel in the car.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. It's like they're the ultra strict mom, but they know Sneak going and they're like, she's a sweetheart. I'm like, yeah, because you're not being a dickhead. That's how you raise your children correctly.
Yep. I also love how this episode really puts like the premiere in a lot greater context. Everything from what's happening with her dad to her side of the visit to the principal's office and getting the pamphlet of the
Being normal.
yeah,
Yes.
the think inside the box camp.
Good lord. There is a lot of little hidden stuff in here. Hunter thinking the 3 Wolf Moon t-shirt that he made is the coolest thing on the planet made me laugh a lot harder than it should have. But am I wrong at thinking that when I was watching this episode that the random Bulk and Skull-esque characters that they introduced to Luce at the high school were going to be more important?
I mean, they felt like they were going to be important, but I think their function was just to introduce the concept of the hayride.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, you're giving these characters name. Who? And then you look like certain people. Okay, but all right. But I did like that. Like they built the house into a little like clubhouse, stuff like that. I thought was really great. Them attempting to learn Spanish, I thought was fantastic.
With the bird! That is totally not Duolingo or anything.
No, not at all. And the this is great, but I still don't get. Yeah, we never.
It is
we don't
painted
understand
in
it.
booty.
We don't understand.
We don't understand it either.
And I love how it just looks like blood going down the door.
It's so perfect.
Oh gosh,
Never question Hootie.
Also the Spirit Devourer poster that is just Maka Albarn with different fonts.
Yep.
Like, my God, how easy you can avoid copyright. Dear Jesus. And okay, so we're bouncing around all over the place, but I do appreciate when they basically incorporate a meme into real life and it hits really hard when the entire time they're like, we can't tell everyone's secrets and blah, 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 and this and that, and then they finally get to said hayride. And then they're like, we're going to tell you the stories of this brothers. And all of a sudden, Luce and Hunter look at each other like, holy shit, is this play about us?
Go fuck.
God, that was so good.
Oh, God. I'm just realizing now, obviously, another detail just happened that makes me realize that Luce's mom is just mine. Luce's mom is a nurse, and so is mine. But anyway. But them actually helping around the house, like showing them growing up and like actually like growing out and stuff like that, that was really good. Actually, you can hear that they, not by a ton, it feels like they made them go through puberty a touch, only though it's been like 6 months because some of their voices were pitched down.
Just a little
hair.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Especially Hunter and Gus especially.
Yeah.
Gus is the one character who has gone through the most in
Voice
the span
puberty.
of in the span of however long it took to record between season 1 and season 2 even.
Yeah, and it's like talking about me and Mike are going to have a thing on the next podcast we record, but like I've gotten to meet Zeno Robinson in person twice now. Like once actually meeting him and talking to him, and twice while I was waiting in line for the number one waifu of all time, Mr. Robert E.O. Speedwagon, voiced by Keith Silverstein, who I got to meet 2 weekends ago. Zeno was like right next to him, and I'm like listening to this guy talk and looking at him, and I'm like, how the fuck do you voice Hunter? Like, just where does that come from?
So something I've always kind of noticed with Zeno's performance as Hunter, it reminds me a lot of Future Trunks from Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
In fact, I even thought that was Eric Vale at first until I saw the credits. Like, oh no, it's Zena Robinson.
Yeah, that's something. But yeah, it's. I loved that even though they weren't in the human realm for long, they showed them being actual like humans getting to interact with other stuff. And I don't know if this is a product of because there is sometimes when ships get more attention than others and other things kind of progress more naturally when they were available to be a thing and then they become more of a thing because they're like, oh, they're really liking that, so we can naturally make that or whatever. I'm appreciating more that Willow and Hunter are, blushing a considerable amount just being in the same vicinity as each other.
I'm glad
I don't know if that becomes a thing, but
I'm glad you noticed that because the fan base has too.
okay, yeah,
Yes.
I figured as much.
The fandom wants them together.
I figured. It's me sitting back here going, I'm like, all right, you got Luce and Amity. You've got Hunter and Willow. I'm like, if we have 2 episodes left, if I start seeing V and Gus flirting, and then all of a sudden they're in the other world, and I'm like, God, they almost had all of them paired.
I'm just going to say, did you notice the way that V was blushing when she met what's her name, Masha at the museum?
Mm-hmm.
A little bit, I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, about how she was not a douche. I do also appreciate. Look at his ears. He's from Mars. Don't make fun of my costume, dude. Arrest that guy. I love how he could that they had a natural occurrence to be like, dude, it's a costume. Fucking arrest that dude. He's constructing stuff like. Nice.
I love whenever Roger Craig Smith comes and just voices the most pathetic characters.
He's awesome. He's got such a good like. One of my things that I love to do, I know it's a random tangent, but I love. Am I thinking of the right Roger Craig? He's the one that voices Sonic, right?
Yep.
Like at random things that cheer me up is I will just while I'm doing stuff listen to montages of clips from Sonic Boom.
Oh.
Everyone in that thing is just fucking hilarious. Well, I got a ticket, but I don't think they're gonna accept "Gotta Go Fast" as a medical condition. The writing of that show is off the fucking chart.
It is so unhinged. I love it.
Oh God, it's so good.
Some things I want to point out, like some quick little allusions. In the montage when they're making the portal that catches on fire. Hunter is wearing a shirt very similar to Rocco from Rocco's Modern Life.
Modern Life. Yep.
Okay, nice. I did.
And there's other little stuff sprinkled throughout.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's one of those. They had enough stuff on the walls all over the place. If you just had to. Also, speaking of that, I know I'm just gonna be gushing how great Melissa's mom is. She's just like, we found all that stuff in the basement. God, yeah, that would be terrible if you just all found that on your own and no one hid it there and you just found it. I didn't know what you kids were into and then bought a bunch of stuff and put it in a room for you to find.
Yeah.
Good God. I do like that. Did they show at first that the book that she got from the Great Witch of Zero was from her dad originally?
No, this is the first time that it's like
explicitly
revealed. That's
where it was like how she got into it.
Good.
Again, this is why I love this episode so much, because it recontextualizes pretty much everything that's happened in the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it even goes far as to explain why Luce is the way she is, but also why her mom is not the person that the fandom thought she was, just based on that first impression.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, she was legitimately, no, you mess with my daughter, I'm gonna bitch you out in public because you're not talking to my daughter. That was my mother at baseball games when I was full of a team of jocks that were better than me and the parents were being assholes.
So something else we have to bring up is the message that Luz attempts to make to tell the rest of her friends. And once again, Camilla to the rescue,
Mm-hmm.
where she sees that earlier and is like, oh, the hell with that.
Yeah. I was like, they're either going to do that comedically where she like knocks her through the portal with a chancla, or she's going to push her through, or the third option I didn't think they were going to do was where the mom was going with her. I'm like, hell yes. Like, I need to have a mother telling someone, like, because you're going to get to see Mom 1 meet Mom 2. I don't know how they're going to handle that, but like, that's... Ida's going to get to learn why Luz is the way she is, and then, yeah, it's yeah. So, that's cool.
Now, I have to ask, what did you think of Bellows coming back the way he did?
I figured something had to happen because they weren't just going to have an episode of "We're having a gay old time in the human
Yay!
problems." I was like, something's got to go wrong, and then like I saw fucking Goo, I'm like, oh, it's been a minute since I watched this, but I think that's Bellows.
Yes, that's why in the last episode they highlighted like the drop, like the Goo drop it on Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, but no, I figured it had to be something because I would have been rather upset if the entire bad stuff that happened while they were in the human world was drama for the sake of having a problem.
I agree.
Like, that is the CW of it. It's like just the best way that I can. Well, we don't got a guy to fight right now, so we need to bring up Laurel's drinking habits again. Like, we don't. No! We don't need to do that.
The only reason why I don't miss, like, at least CW's version of 22 episode seasons is when you waste time on drama like that.
No, it's just, you can do 22 episode stuff. They just, because, like, going back and I'm watching some of the seasons, like, this is a tangent again, but it's based on writing for the... Flash didn't have this shit. The first season of The Flash is one of the most genuinely well-written single seasons of TV I've ever seen. It's immaculate from front to back. It is full with stuff that pushes the plot forward and little itty-bitty character-centric episodes that are great, and they don't have a bunch of stupid useless drama, because everything is tied directly to the main villain, even everything that surrounds it. It is all tied to this one point. They don't bring up random shit that drags a story down just because they can't come up with something for this week. If you can't come up with enough stuff to fill the amount of episodes you're asking for, don't do those amount of episodes. Fill the amount of episodes based off the shit you have in your head you know you can fill an episode with.
Yeah.
This week, I got 22 episodes. Get in the writing room and write. What if we had lightsabers made out of speed lightning? No. Do we have any better ideas? All right, that's an episode. I'm not making that up.
Or
No,
have like a
I'm
20
aware.
plus episode filler arc after something happens. Looking at you, Naruto.
Yep. Or
Guy.
just start off an entire show with filler. Looking at you, Baruto, because that's what you do.
I mean, yeah, Boruto anime is pretty much 90% filler, 10% following the anime to the letter. But, you know, we're not talking about Boruto.
Yeah, just don't make TV unless you actually have good content, because people don't know what a filler episode is anymore.
They really don't.
Filler is literally meant for, this is putting in place because we don't have the other stuff right now. It is an anime-born term. But then everyone goes, yeah, but that didn't have the stuff I wanted in it to push the plot forward, so it's filler. No! You can have a character development episode that then draws into another episode later that they draw back to.
Yup.
It's called writing.
Now that being said, I also would have liked if this show had a full season the way Amphibia had its third season, where I know some people complained that like the first half was a little bit too light and fluffy because the like spoilers for those who haven't seen it, something similar happens where Anne and her amphibian friends end up on Earth for a number of episodes before they get back
Oh yeah,
to...
I think I never watched this, but I remember people pretty much the whole time comparing Inferior to Owl House. It was like, oh, it's the same thing. And I'm like,
they're the same, but they're also
Yeah.
kind of different. Like the main difference is because we're only doing 3 44-minute specials, we got to kind of pick up the pace.
Try to wrap everything up. Like,
That's why there are 2 montages in this of, you know, the adventures that the group goes on.
Which, they're good. Like,
But
they're
they're
actually well-meant montages. And they show things that you didn't need to see drawn-out versions of. Like, they're living in the house and learning how to cook stuff. Like, I didn't need to have an episode of Gus learning that mustard isn't a good... like, we don't need that. But you can have it as a funny joke because stuff happened while they were there and blah, blah, blah. But, yeah, it's montages when they're useful are good. You're not going to beat Team America. I know we've educated you on that in an earlier episode, but just if you're not gonna go shoot for the king, don't miss. Is all I'm saying.
Yep.
But no, a montage when good is fine. I wish more shows would learn from that because some.
my.
Yeah, but anyway.
Anyway,
I will say, it may be because I have not seen the show in a hot minute, but it feels like, especially in the ending scene or the ending chunk, that yes was a giant spoiler that I saw that I had no idea it was in the human world because I did not see anything outside of spooky area and Loose and Hunter. And then the scene playing in like an autoplay on my other monitor on a YouTube thing. So I was like, when they're flying around and having that fight, is it just me or did they put more into the animation quality?
they did,
they amped it up.
Yeah,
they put some juice
holy
into that.
shit. Like, I don't know if it's because I haven't watched the show in a while, but that looks very impressive.
No, that whole scene, that's where they put most of the animation money in.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, oh
Yeah,
no,
that
that
was
was really good
fantastic.
animation. I was like, oh! First time I saw it.
Absolutely, yeah, no, that was really good. I like that quite a bit.
Yeah, that was some good stuff right there, and it does unfortunately lead to the moment that so many people were talking about when this episode premiered.
Yes. Everyone was mourning the great loss of Flapjack.
Okay, now, Masao, is a different thing I'm waiting on that was the thing that corresponded with Ruby? Or is
Yes, it did not happen yet.
Okay. There's some great cataclysmic event
Like
that happened.
You will know when we get to it. You will know. You'll be like, oh, that's Ruby.
Okay, alright.
That happened the same weekend.
Okay.
It was not a fun time.
Okay.
Okay, so I guess we'll get to that one later.
Because, like, Mike, I don't know the opposite end, but, like, everyone in our Ruby review, I think, except maybe Amy, had watched Owl House, and then they're all bringing up where they're like, yeah, this happened.
Oh, yeah,
thing.
it's not a good weekend for Ruby. Yeah, that was not a fun
Like-
weekend for Our House and Ruby fans.
Like, I don't know what's going on, but apparently it was sad.
Yeah. You'll know.
But,
You'll know.
okay.
You'll know.
Alrighty
But not up
then.
to it. You'll trust, like I said, you'll know.
Mhm.
You'll know why everyone was really sad that week.
Oh, God.
It's
All
the
right.
last episode of Our House.
Oh, the last
It's
episode.
the last episode.
The last
Okay.
episode.
Okay,
Got
then we
it.
definitely haven't gotten it yet.
That's why to give without spoiling stuff.
Okay. Got it.
Stuff happens in the last episode. Yeah, I'll tell you later.
Got it. Sounds good.
Don't worry, I'll tell you later. I'll DM you later, so you're like now like
Anything else you want to bring up about this episode? Because again, for as much as they had to cram into like such a short amount of time, I still think this is like pretty well paced for.
Yeah.
yes.
I
And
have no
then-
complaints about it.
Even like the first time I watched it, and like I was one of those like, wait a minute, because in the beginning like you see everyone using magic,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, wait a minute, but in season 1, Luz couldn't use magic, and Lilith couldn't use magic. So in the beginning, I was like, did they forget that?
No, I think.
And then that once they explain later on with because like the closer you are to the Titan blood, you're able to use your magic. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Thank you for finally clarifying that because I was like, did we forget one major plot detail in the end of season 1?
Yeah. I was like, yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, I'm glad they clarified that. And
Yeah.
yeah, they did a good job of like making sure they cross their T's and dot their I's.
Yeah, that's why I was glad. Like, I'm like, whew. I was like, I'm glad we're not pulling like forgetting stuff like One Piece and JoJo.
I was just gonna say, if you're gonna sit on this review stream and not mention JoJo,
I know, right?
Getting powers. Remember that time when Kakyoin swiped the painting and it cut Jotaro's leg and he never did it again? Remember
Yeah,
that time
he
when
forgot. He
Kakyoin
forgot
forgets he
that
can possess people and then never use that power again?
because he forgot.
Mike, if you don't know, I give this dude a lot of credit. Araki was the writer, mangaka, and time vampire that comes up with JoJo's. There's a big meme called Araki Forgot where he will make these extravagant powers that I could never come
He
up
forgets.
with. All these characters, and then have them around and make them have this unbelievable cool scene, and then go. All of us are watching, going. You had him possess a nurse, and then if we hurt the nurse or try to hurt him, we would kill her. But then when he became a good guy, he forgot how to possess people with his powers. He also forgot how to swipe a paintbrush across the painting, and that somehow cut the character when that wasn't his stand. Where was that?
The best part is when he wrote part 5, one of the main people in that whole crew of part 5. Stuff happens, he's like, I'm out. They totally forgot about him.
Yeah, they're
Like, oh yeah, that person left, and I never brought that person up ever again.
There was a character, Mike, that oh, now I'm blanking on what his name is. His Stan's name is Purple Haze. But I can't think of what the fucking character's name is.
I know. I like I said, because like he was, he was a main character for like a solid half of the season, and then stuff happens where he's like, no, I'm out. This is a lot, and you just never see him ever again in the manga. At least the anime did a little bit of justice.
Yeah, and
they kind of fixed it in the anime at least, but still.
In the anime, they say that, like, I'm not getting involved in going after the boss. I'm loyal and all this, but, like, a giant reason
Well,
why
like,
a
you
lot of
see
people
him,
think
like they show him in the anime.
Yeah.
But, like, you just never see him in the fucking manga.
Yeah, there's a thing where a lot of people actually concede the fact that Araki got rid of him because it gave him the most fucking overpowered stand in that entire existence at that point. Because he just had a stand that he created that when he calls upon it, it cannot be controlled. It's a festering purple puke monster that just spews out smoke in like a 5-meter radius. And if you inhale it, you die within 5 minutes guaranteed. And it does not signify targets friend or foe, it's spewing it at everyone.
Yeah,
Oh Jesus!
it was. It was so broken.
This is why eventually I will watch JoJo. I just have a lot on my plate now.
I'd be okay with doing seasonal updates of JoJo.
Maybe on like zero, like on zeroing out, I can do a JoJo update.
Because you're going to appreciate the musical references and all
Oh
that.
yeah, of course.
Yes.
It's going to be you trying to figure out what these things are supposed to be called versus what they have to be called for copyright reasons.
And then,
You're never going to beat dirty deeds done dirt cheap that are filthy acts done at a reasonable price. You're just never going to beat that one.
Oh, and the best part is, the more you watch JoJo, the more meme history you'll get.
Oh.
Yeah, want to know backstory of a
meme?
Just watch JoJo, everyone. You'll know where a meme comes from.
Yeah, you'll learn that me and Chris 15 times whenever we're somewhere and go, how many breads have you eaten in your life, JoJo? Just never fail. It's out of nowhere. It's a nervous, like, Tourette's tick that we just have to say it every now and then. But anyway, back to the Owl House.
Back to Owl House. Brock, do you have any 11th hour predictions for what's going to happen in the next episode?
Dear God. Well, depending on where Edda and everyone else is, you're going to have a mom meets mom moment. And then you're going to have a little powwow. You're going to have a mom meets Hootie, which explains why that was the blood painted on the door. You're the King and Amity reunion, I don't know. King and Luce reunion.
Oh, yeah.
And
what about the Collector?
The Collector, I don't know because I've seen the title card for the 3rd episode, and to me that seems spoilish. Cause they show him in a state that is like, why are you showing him in that state with that emotion, looking in that way? Because that signifies him feeling a way about things, which
at least but at least the thumbnail is not a full-on spoiler like that did to that one episode in Ruby. Oh God!
You're not wrong.
So it's just taken out of context and not a full-on spoiler.
You're not wrong, but no, because I don't know what the Boiling Owls is going to be like once they're back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So
noted.
I don't know if it's going to be full-blown war between the Collector and Bellows or what, or... My prediction is Bellows is still going to be a dickhead. I think I can be pretty accurate in that. I don't see a face turn for Bellows in the future.
Yeah. That I'll consider that a free space on your bingo card.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the first of the 3 specials. Before we get out of here, Misal, where can everyone find you online?
You can find me on Twitter and Blue Sky at Cubalove028.
And Brock, where can everyone find you?
You can find me everywhere at Organoid Zero, mainly on Twitch and YouTube. If you're into cosplays and the like and conventions, you can find me at my Instagram at Organoid Zero. I'm going to be at Anime Detour in Minneapolis next weekend, and then the weekend after that, I'll be at Great Northwestern Gaming Classic for the weekend, literally because most of the cast of Devil May Cry is there, and one of the 15 Devil May Cry cosplayers from Chicago sent me a thing like, go to that! I'm like, what is... Oh, shit! So I'll be there, and the other podcast that I do, the Geeking Out podcast with Athletic Geek 89, my buddy Eli, on his channel. Go over and check that out. It's a ton of fun.
And you guys can find me on various social media sites at Captain K42. You can check out my quick thoughts on letterboxd.com/CoachK42. And you can follow Renegade Pop Culture on Facebook and Blue Sky at Renegade Pop Culture. You can also find us here on YouTube, on Podchaser. Consider supporting our Patreon at patreon.com/Renegade Pop Culture. Listen to all of our podcasts on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen. And last but not least, everything can be found at renegadepopculture.com. Need an escape? So do we. And until next time,
Bye!